Tonight on Southern Oregon Strong, a special report. A local medical professional taking their disaster training experience to new levels will explain what they say they were prepared for and what they're still learning. Local engineers, creators, doctors, and more are all working together to address the need for personal protective equipment in the area hospitals. We'll show you what they're doing and how it all got started. And the Oregon Shakespeare Festival has been through the Great Depression, wars, and wildfires. It isn't letting the coronavirus pandemic ruin the 2020 season. We'll tell you how it is planning for the future.
Watching out for you. This is a NewsWatch 12 special report. Southern Oregon Strong.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Alicia Rubin.
And I'm Brian Morton. Over the next half hour during this special report, we'll be digging into how Southern Oregon community has stepped up during the COVID-19 pandemic.
We're going to be talking about everything from how hospitals adapted and changed to how schools went to being completely virtual and so much more.
One of the biggest contributors to our local healthcare community is a group that came together and created a network of engineers, doctors, scientists, makers, and more. The group started a movement to crowdsource supplies to help save lives. Alicia talked to those people.
Brad, can you share, how did this come about? How did you get this idea and then make it a reality?
Yeah, I sent an email to one of my friends who's a nurse at the hospital and just mentioned that I'd heard about people making ventilator parts. Do they need help in any manner? And within a couple hours after that, on a Sunday, I got an email back from Brian Murphy, who was the supply chain director for all of Asante, and we started talking right away. He said, yes, please help us, kind of amass the troops. And so within 24 hours, we had about 35 people on the call getting the information about what's the problem. And then we organized and we started delivering products to the hospital literally the next day.
Wow. So Brad, can you walk me through that process? How long does it take to go from design, prototype to product?
Yeah, that process, it's an iterative process. So it depends for each product, depending on how complicated it is, how mission critical it is, how important it is to work perfectly for either the patient's or the doctor's safety. In some of these, there's already designs out there that are pretty close and that work for other areas, but might not have been perfect for ours. And so we just took that design and then made some minor tweaks. And those are one that we pushed across the finish line within, we at least had the first prototypes done within 24 hours. And then once we've made that, then we have the doctors say, well, we like this, but we don't like that. And then that process with, we've got, Derek from St. Mary's. He's able to do some designs and just come up with great ideas right away. Another guy named Matthias, he can take those designs and turn them into SolidWorks. And then people at Talent Maker City and really all over the community take those designs and 3D print it. And then we get it to the doctor's hands and people like Carl take a look at it and be like, well, this is great, but if you could change this, that'd be great. And then we start over, but we already are starting from a place much further than we started. And so it happens very quickly. I mean, we're about a month into this, I think, by now, and we've made some pretty ridiculous progress so far.
Yeah, Dr. Seeger, I'm interested to know, are these 3D printed PPE equipment pieces as effective as the traditional ones?
Yeah, I think it depends on what we're talking about. There's a lot of different products we're talking about. I think, the sort of best product we can discuss is the face shields. I think they're as effective as anything else out there on the market. When we start talking about other items, it's you have to go through rigorous testing processes to sort of prove that. The face shields, though, are sort of amazing, and it's been really a benefit for Asante across the entire Asante system.
Is this something that you could see hanging around, something that we continue to use even after COVID-19?
Right now, we're really trying to just get through this pandemic situation and address the issues at hand. But I think that has really been a issue in the back of my mind, as well as other administrators in Asante's mind, is, wow, this is really amazing how we can have these relationships with businesses in the community and also just talented people in the community how do we continue this further on? I mean, I think right now that's a little bit putting the cart before the horse. We're really just trying to make sure we're protecting all of our employees right now.
Well, NewsWatch 12 has been tracking this group's progress since the beginning. You can find our other stories with them at kdrv.com.
Medical professionals train for a variety of situations, but it's almost impossible to train for a global pandemic. Brian spoke with the incident commander at Providence Medford Medical Center about how they use their disaster training to help with COVID-19.
The COVID-19 pandemic has forced a lot of medical professionals to make changes they've been trained for but don't often put into use. Ryan Hutchinson joins us now. He's the Director of Diagnostic Imaging at Providence Medford, but he's also serving as the Deputy Incident Commander for the COVID-19 response. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about the training that you went through that put you in a position to help out when this pandemic hit.
Well, there's a place called the Center of Disaster Preparedness in Anniston, Alabama. It's a FEMA-sponsored facility. And they offer multiple classes, including one that's specific to hospital command leadership for a mass casualty incident. And so a group of 6 of us went there late last year and did the training and came back and talked with our teams about how we could implement some more of that training into our emergency preparedness. And so it actually helped us out quite a bit coming into this incident.
How would you describe the folks you work with adapting to the challenges they were presented with, learning what they needed to be prepared for the pandemic?
I mean, I think they did very well. You know, it took a short amount of time for us to realize that, you know, we had the tools and the knowledge based from this training and just had to figure out how to create a structure to put it into use. So what we did is I happened to be the administrator on call the week that we were going to set up our command center. So I was tasked with setting up the command center, assigning the roles, and getting people up to speed. And so once we had, I guess, kind of that forward momentum, then people were jumping on board and were able to, I guess, think about what they learned and then figure out how to apply it and then how we communicate. And so as we moved through our process, setting up more meetings for, you know, requests for information, reporting out information, and then, of course, how to pull in our local partners, our county, you know, our regional resources up in Portland, and just get everybody talking together, and it really smoothed out quickly.
Ryan Hutchinson from Providence Medford, we appreciate your training, your help, and helping us out today. Thanks very much.
All right, thank you.
Local businesses are adapting to accommodate for social distancing. One shop in Grants Pass is even offering new activities to keep kids occupied. We'll explain what they're doing coming up. And even though students aren't in traditional classrooms anymore, the learning doesn't stop. Coming up, we'll explain what goes into making virtual classes a reality.
Right now, local businesses are having to adjust some of their operations in order to accommodate social distancing. NewsWatch 12's Adam Shooms spoke with the owner of Pottery, Canvas, and Stone in Grants Pass about what he's doing right now.
The coronavirus pandemic has caused many businesses to change how they're doing things. One of those businesses is Pottery, Canvas, and Stone in Grants Pass, and we're now joined by the owner, David Wilhite. So what changes have you made since the social distancing rules went into effect?
Well, we've made a lot of changes. We've had to take out about half of our seating, half of our tables, put up barriers to direct traffic with tape marking off the floor. And we have a table in front of our register area so that customers have a spot to stand back from the counter and put their products and things like that.
So I heard you guys are doing something very special for the community, right?
Well, I'd like to think so. Mostly just giving kids a chance to do something while they're stuck at home, you know, and have a little bit of fun. So we're doing a takeout project or to-go projects where they can come in, pick a project, we package it up, and they take it home.
What are some of these projects entail?
Well, you can see here, these are probably our most popular projects. They're all little figurines and animals and things. We call them party animals. And you just get a party animal and then take it home and paint it and bring it back, and we fire it for you. And then it comes back all shiny and colorful, and the kids feel great about their accomplishment.
What has been some of the reaction between the parents and kids, you know, when they get to do this at home and then they bring it back and they fire it up and they finally see their creation? What has been the reaction?
Smiles, people just, it's amazing how happy it makes people feel to see their piece after they've painted it. And a lot of people have said thank you for being open, because so few places are. And I just really want to do something to help out during all this coronavirus stuff. It's not like we're making a whole lot of profit right now, but it's, you know, keeping us afloat, and we'll hopefully come out of this whole thing a little stronger.
David, thank you. What you're doing right now matters. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Students in Oregon will not return to their classrooms inside their schools for the rest of the school year. But thanks to a lot of hardworking school staff, students are able to keep the learning going. We'll show you behind the scenes of Anywhere Learning TV coming up.
One of the ways our community has stayed strong is by adapting to challenges. NewsWatch 12 has partnered with the Medford School District to bring students Anywhere Learning TV. It brings students an hour and a half of lessons every day while schools are closed. And Alicia spoke with two people who work behind the scenes to make it all happen.
Can you walk me through the process that it takes every day to get Anywhere Learning TV up and running and on air?
Absolutely. So we get in every morning around 8 a.m. and we have 2 hours to prepare for the first teacher that's going to come in at 10 a.m. to film their lesson plan. And so what that involves is resetting our studio, or maybe both studios, because we have 2 studios, and you know, getting things like the blocking right, framing up the cameras just right, based upon the lesson plan the teacher sent us the night before. And then it's a marathon throughout the rest of the day. We have teachers every 2 hours that we're filming in one or both studios.
Ivan, what made you decide to jump in and do this?
I was really hoping for a chance to be able to help students that don't have the advantage of having internet connectivity at home. So the idea of being able to provide a resource for students that just have that access through the television, it seemed like a wonderful opportunity.
Shifting gears the way both of you have has presented some challenges, I'm sure. What were some of those challenges that you feel like you've overcome?
The biggest challenge for me through this project has been the fact that we don't get to see our students anymore. We don't get to have that daily check-in with them and see how they're doing. We lose that socialization and connection piece.
Why is something like this so important? This is a lot of work that you guys are putting in. Is it worth it?
It's absolutely worth it because, as Ivan mentioned earlier, there are students that don't have internet access at home. There are also students that don't have access to broadcast television at home. And so another amazing aspect to this project is that we can actually take those videos, put them on a thumb drive, and send them home to students and families, because all students in the Medford School District have access or are getting access to Chromebooks, and they can view these episodes on those Chromebooks.
The Oregon Shakespeare Festival has postponed its 2020 season until September. The coronavirus pandemic has presented a challenge, but OSF says it's nothing it can't overcome. We'll bring an update on their plans coming up.
To be or not to be is not a question for the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. It plans to be on the stage this fall and into next year with your support. Brian Morton has more.
Join us as we dare to dream together.
Oregon Shakespeare Festival Artistic Director Nataki Garrett is sharing comments recorded at home for the world's largest stage, the Internet. The festival is online with a $5 million fundraising campaign in response to coronavirus effects this year. OSF had just started its 2020 season last month when state orders restricting crowds and closing theaters forced temporary closure of the festival's planned performances, along with the layoff of 400 artists and staff.
We still have big dreams for the future because that's what theater does best. We look beyond the current moment to see what's possible.
Garrett reminds patrons and donors OSF launched during the Great Depression and overcame adversities of war, wildfire, and an earlier pandemic, AIDS. And she invites donors of any amount to support Oregon Shakespeare Festival and Ashland.
Your donation will support OSF's continued leadership in the American theater industry, and also it will help us support Ashland, as we are a major economic driver in this region, but specifically in this town.
The Oregon Shakespeare Festival Emergency Relief Dare to Dream Fund has raised more than $40,000 since Monday. You can access that fund and donate at our website, kdrv.com. You can also find it by going to the website that you see here on your screen. Still to come on NewsWatch 12 Special Edition, Access Food Pantry needs your help while helping others during this pandemic. Coming up next, we'll tell you what sort of help it needs when Southern Oregon Strong continues.
Right now, families across the region are struggling with food as they deal with the loss of income or other impacts from the coronavirus pandemic. NewsWatch 12's Adam Schoombs spoke with Access Food Bank about what this has been like for them.
As the ongoing coronavirus pandemic continues, many organizations in Southern Oregon are working to help out the community. So we're joined by Marcy Champion, the Nutrition Director for Access. Thank you so much for joining me. What's the biggest?
Absolutely, it's my pleasure.
What's the biggest challenge you've had to overcome?
The biggest challenge for us came early on when we had to figure out how to continue to provide food to our community in a safe way. We quickly got up to speed on that, but that was a hurdle we had to overcome early on.
How can people help right now?
So we have been so overwhelmed by the generosity of the state of Oregon, the Oregon Food Bank. Of course, many people know about the governor, the $8 million that the governor through the state sent to the Oregon Food Bank, and that's been phenomenal. There are other costs involved with getting food out to our community. So at this point, we're not doing food drives for safety reasons. So financial donations would be greatly appreciated to help us cover those other costs.
We've seen during this pandemic just people coming together to help one another. You call it either Southern Oregon Strong or we're all in this together. So what's the most important message you want to share with people right now?
Yes, so this has been obviously for everybody a crisis, and the message I want to share is that we are strong as a state, we're strong as a region, and we have seen so much support from our community. For those who are in need in the community or facing struggles, I would like to remind people to go to our website for updated information. It's there that you'll get updates on when we start to reopen pantries, and as we start to roll that out, you'll get your news there.
Tomorrow, join us here again at 8:30. Our second special report after the outbreak dives into what life could be like once this pandemic is over. We're talking with local experts about what a new normal might be. Again, join us Friday at 8:30 for that special edition of Coronavirus Watch right here on NewsWatch 12. And thank you again for joining us for our special report, Southern Oregon Strong. We truly believe that every Southern Oregonian is strong, and we will get through this together.
For all the coronavirus resources you need, just head to our website at kdrv.com. Thanks for joining us on the special edition of NewsWatch 12. We'll be back here on NewsWatch 12 at 11 o'clock. We hope you join us then.